Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today's June 3rd, and right now I'm out here in Burlington, Colorado, right near the Kansas border. Gonna be out chasing here for the next few days, so that's why you see the hotel landscape behind me there. But taking a look here at the mid-level water vapor loop, something interesting. You can see that closed low right off our coastline there. This is gonna make some interesting weather to Southern California today. Eyes on the sky, heads up. There's gonna be some thunderstorm activity across some of the higher elevation of Southern California, across some of the desert areas here in Nevada. We'll take a look at that in some detail, as well as a little bit of a look off into the extended forecast, as always, as we go through the video here this morning. Taking a look at the Pacific Ocean, or Northeast Pacific Ocean, you can see the Hawaiian Islands to the bottom left. There's California kind of to the upper right of this graphic. And if I put this into motion, you see the anticyclonic flow out over the Pacific Ocean. That is our ridge of high pressure, kind of dominating the weather pattern there and allowing for some of these closed lows to be forming off our coastline. But look, as we go off into this week, and you can see we start to ramp things up. I mean, much of the west coast of North America at 5,000 feet, 850 millibars, is quite above normal here as this ridge pivots inland, and that's going to also warm up a lot of California, some of the desert southwest as well. So you can kind of see that, scroll through that one more time. You see the ridge building and mainly bringing some abnormally warm temperatures at 5,000 feet across the Pacific Northwest and a lot of the west coast of North America. So if we take a look at 500 millibars, it's about 18,000 feet. There's that ridge right there, and there is our little closed low that we saw on the mid-level water vapor loop. And you put that into motion, you can see that pivot off towards the plains. That's what I'm going to be out there chasing here, and hopefully that mixes with some of the Gulf moisture and produces some interesting cloudscapes. But you also see the Pacific high pressure not in a hurry to go anywhere. Then you can kind of see that ridge axis pivot and move towards the Pacific Northwest. And again, it's going to kind of keep these temperatures above normal here for a lot of the west coast of North America for the foreseeable future. Now, looking at today, because that's the big story right now. This is the North American model high resolution look at things, composite reflectivity. This is what the Doppler radar may look like here over the next 60 hours or so. As we scroll through the day to day, look at some of these showers start to fire up here. So you're looking at about 1 o'clock here. You see some of these thunderstorms across the southern Sierra Nevada, and there could be some showers even across some of the islands. And then you see that precipitation start across the higher terrain. You kind of see the spin in the atmosphere right there. These could be producing lightning here. Palm Springs, watch out. Salton Sea, some of these slopes of the peninsula, range, the transverse range as well. And you see that pivot across some of the desert areas. There's Blythe out there, might get a thunderstorm or two. And you can see the Arizona-California border as that spins across the areas we go through tonight into tomorrow morning. Then that system should be keeping much of its energy off to the north and east, except it'll probably another around here as we go through Wednesday afternoon across the Sierra Nevada and portions of Nevada here. And some of these storms, if you're underneath one of these, you know, it can kind of seem like the world is coming to an end. You're getting all this lightning and some heavy rain out there. So those isolated areas are going to be having some interesting weather as we go on in through Wednesday and on through Thursday morning. You see that precipitation is pushing off to the east. So you can kind of go through that one more time. You see the spin in the atmosphere, and we are going to have some active weather here again across Southern California. These are going to be producing lightning here. So just a heads up for that. Eyes on the sky today. Now, total precipitation in inches, you can see some of that tries to get out into some of the coastal plain as well, and maybe down towards San Diego, some of the foothills, and again some of the higher terrain. But you see these instances of precipitation are fairly isolated, but when you start to get into these blues here, you're looking at up over a half an inch of rainfall. And then we scroll off in towards Wednesday, and you see a lot of that precipitation still moving off to the north and east, and probably thunderstorm activity most afternoons here as we go through this upcoming week for the Sierra Nevada. So if you're going off in the backcountry, heads up for that. Now, looking at total precipitation in inches, a little bit closer look at things here on the North American high resolution model. You can kind of see when you get these yellows out here, that's picking up more than an inch of precipitation as we go through the day to day. So again, if you're underneath some of that stuff, you can get some localized flooding and dangerous lightning, some gusty winds associated with this thunderstorm activity. Now, and you also notice that some people are getting nothing here, so you got to throw in that caveat as well. So looking at the high resolution rapid refresh, we're going to go to Southern California first and kind of play through this. This is the updated one. Let me go back to the 12Z so we can see what it says. We go through the day to day, and again, this is lightning flash density potential. You can see some of this out over the islands and just getting close to some of the coastal areas there for Los Angeles. And it even shows this thunderstorm kind of drifting back from the northeast out over some of the coastal plain there, and And you can kind of see that. Some of these are going to be prolific lightning producers across the desert areas. And then you can see that energy pivot off to the east as we go through tomorrow morning. And then as we go through Wednesday afternoon, again, off to the north a little bit further there, we'll go to central California. You can see those thunderstorms again develop for Wednesday afternoon for the Sierra Nevada. Now, looking at National Blend of Models. So here we go for today, June 3rd. We put that into motion, and you can see Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Looking at any cool down here, and in fact, if we get towards the weekend, you can see the northern Sacramento Valley getting up over 100 degrees again. Bakersfield down here towards 98. Fresno looking at upper 90s. Some of the desert areas are going to be well above 100 degrees. Death Valley up over 110 there, and some warm conditions for Southern California, especially the foothill areas. And as you get further east across the desert areas, no doubt. And if you want relief, you go across some of the immediate coastline, especially Bay Area northward. Of course, your highs are locked into the 60s here, the moderating effects of the Pacific Ocean. Then we go through Sunday, Monday, kind of the same old scenario here as we go through the extended forecast. Shows a bit of a cool down as we go through the end of the following week, but that's off into fantasy land. This is one of the cloudscapes I got here yesterday. You see the supercell with the nice structure there as we're racing across portions of Wyoming, Nebraska, and Colorado yesterday. We zero-metered a pretty weak and brief tornado. You might have seen another land spout as well, but we were right in it here. Some pretty dusty conditions. It was pretty fun, and yeah, so it was kind of a nice day there yesterday. Nice first chase out and about, and hopefully things remain active as we go through this upcoming week. They're probably going to chase some New Mexico lightning tonight. You're going to ignore this stuff out here across Oklahoma and Texas. A bit of a too far of a drive there, and it's not looking that great. And plus the next days are lining up to be quite active across some portions of West Texas in towards New Mexico as well. Some nice Gulf moisture will be banking up against some of the higher terrain there with some nice southwesterly flow. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, yeah, hope you guys are enjoying the channel. Click like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys see on the Patreon page, if you would, and leave me some images, and I will talk to you guys later.